All right, welcome everybody. This is the second of the Suburban Outfitters LuLaBro Webinar series. I am Brooks Boylston, and my wife Susan is the consultant that started Suburban Outfitters. So we will give everybody a few minutes to join, and then we'll get started. Okay, it's starting to ramp up. All right, so welcome again. The idea of these webinars is like for you guys to hear stories of guys that are working the LuLaRoe business. I really wanted to focus on stories because I think they're powerful. We're all we have a common goal. We're doing the best we can, and we're different circumstances. Some of us work full time, but also do a great job of helping our spouses with our business. Others of us have gone full time LuLaRoe. So anyways, I hope that you will get some good ideas. And again, like I said this last week, it's not for you to compare yourself. It's just for you to get some good ideas. And again, ladies on the call, it's not for you to compare your husband to these guys. It's just hopefully they can get some, you all can get some encouragement. So that's what this is about. And I'm just going to hand it over to these guys, and you can hear their stories. Matt, you want to?
Sure. Yeah. So my name's Matt. My wife is Lisa, and that's how I have to start every story with LuLaRoe, right? Who's your wife? But that's cool. I'm okay with that. So my wife started almost 2 years ago. Actually, Marty, who's on here as well, his wife came to our house and did a pop-up, and that night when she left, she's like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm like, okay, great. So I sat down with her and I said, you've never asked to do anything like this, like 31 or anything like that, which is obviously what I thought it was like one of those direct marketing things. And I said, so tell me about it. And she kind of started talking about it. And we didn't really make the decision until about 3 months later. And I made her, I was like, okay, let me see your business plan. What's your plan? How are you going to do this? I think you're going to do great at this because one, I know you love the clothes, and I saw the, the markup and stuff on it. And so I was like, let me hear your business plan. And she said, what's a business plan? And so I was like, all right, well, we're going to come up with it together. So, and then from there, we went a year until, this last April. Well, it was in February, so we made it on the cruise, which is awesome. You guys know the LuLaRoe Incentive Cruise, which is amazing. When the cruise, we got to meet the family. So and specifically, I know that we met with Jeff and Nicole, and I got to talk to business with them. And by then, I had already been really dang, this is working out really well. My wife's making a lot of money doing this. We didn't really anticipate that. But I'm happy with what I'm doing. I worked at a cell phone company for almost 10 years. And, I got my promotions, and I thought I was making great money and good benefits and everything. But all of a sudden in 1 year, my wife's making as much as I am, and, in just sales. So I was like, this is pretty crazy. But, I had the fears, I think, that I talked to most guys about, that their wives are talking about doing the business of, longevity and leggings are going to go out of style and all that kind of stuff. I had the same fears that most of the guys do. And but I sat down with Jeff and Nicole, and me and my wife, we were talking to them and just getting to meet them. If you guys have ever met them, you know what I'm talking about. They're just real. They're genuine. You got their feel for the business. We talked financing, that they are completely debt free and all these other things that I was able to talk to them about. Made me feel real comfortable. So on the cruise, which was not intentional, I told my wife, after talking to Brooks too, I was like, Lisa, let's do it. Let me quit my job that I've been doing for 10 years, working retail every weekend, every holiday, every iPhone launch, all that stuff. And let's do this full time. I guess rewind a little bit before that. I had talked to Brooks because he had quit. When did you quit, Brooks?
Yeah, it was almost like exactly a year ago. It was like November 9th.
Okay, so you had been doing it for like full time for about 4 months.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to you about that, and you challenged me. Not that you pushed me to like quit my job, but you said, well, like what would it take? Like how much money would she have to make? And I was like, no, it's not something I'm going to do. And you're like, oh, that's cool. No, it's not for everybody. You know, I just was curious, would there be an amount of money? And I was like, well, yeah, I guess if you put it that way, like what if she made this much? And and I decided on a number. I'm like, all right, if she makes this much, then I would consider it. And by the cruise, she was making that much, and more. So that with, you know, meeting the family and talking, you know, the business with family, we decided to go full time. So I was in February, and then I put my notice in when I got home and surprised everybody at my job and my family. And everybody else was like, "Are you crazy?" A little bit, a little crazy. And also, I get to grow my beard out, so that was another big benefit. So that was pretty big. So I see Marty's, you know, growing a little bit out now. So hopefully,
give it a shot.
Yeah. So after that, you know, so now, you know, I got home, and I like, now what? Now what do I do? Because I really didn't know, right? So I got home. All right, babe, ready to do this, ready to tackle this. You know, I've been working as long as, you know, I've been out of high school, and I'm ready to do this. And then, like, you know, reality hits, and I'm like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. And I go into her office, and it's a mess. And we don't know what to do. And I call Brooks, and I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna have to like watch the kids all day every day, am I? And he's like, there's gonna be some of that. And I'm like, okay. So so I think the biggest thing for me was when I got home is figuring out my place. And I know a lot of guys that have, you know, are getting involved in the business. That's the thing. So after a couple of weeks trying to figure it out, I would say the thing that I did was I just did what Lisa didn't want to do. So if you guys are wondering, you know, like, where do I start? Do the stuff she doesn't like to do. I mean, that's pretty easy, and they're usually the time suckers, right? So invoicing everybody after online parties, you know, shipping, that's something I think a lot of guys take on too. It's all the behind the scenes stuff, loading your car, unloading her. Lisa won't even do a pop-up at someone's house if I'm not there to load her and unload her, because she got so used to it. So once we did that, and I just started with all the stuff she doesn't like to do, we've been running pretty smoothly now. And we go to, you know, every pop-up together. I know Brooks had called me when he was doing a pop-up in Fuquay where I live, and I was doing a pop-up in Raleigh where he lived, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? He asked me, and I was like, oh, I'm at Starbucks right now because I'm in between the pop-up. And he's like, oh, me too. Where should I eat in Fuquay? And I'm like, God, we got pretty good lives, huh? And he's like, yeah, it's pretty awesome. So that would be kind of my biggest thing. We've come a long way. We're doing really well now. We still have some really stressful times and stuff like that, and, you know, learning to lead a big team. But I guess my biggest thing when Brooks asked me to do this, that's what I was thinking, like, you know, for the guys that are out there, just start. And you can start now. You know, like, you don't have to be full-time to do that. Just start doing all the stuff that she doesn't like doing, and it'll free her up and to you know, talk to the team and do her business.
All right, cool. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, man.
All right, Marty.
So I'm Marty Pearce. I'm with Lauren Pearce. That's who, like Matt said, they ask, who's your wife? So that's who got it all started. And we've been going at it for about 2 years. And I honestly have to say that when she got started, I was not for it at all. I was I remember it like it was yesterday. I was doing a hiring process for where I work at the fire department, and she had mentioned it. I was gone almost every day, all day, and she had mentioned it in passing, like, hey, this is something I really want to do. It's like, okay, when I get done with this process, we'll sit down, like Matt said, let me see a business plan, a game plan, how you want to do it. And then Thursday, before I was done, I talked to her and she said, "Oh, by the way, I signed up. I'm doing it." I was like, "What? What are you talking about? Like, we ain't even talked about anything." She said, "Well, I'm doing it." I said, "Okay." And in the beginning, like Matt said, it was tough. And to be honest, I wasn't the most supportive either. I saw it as something that was taking her away from the family and from me, and it was sucking up a lot of our time. I was having to put in double time. But eventually my mindset changed. She went to a leadership one time and I was with the kids, and a lot of self-reflection time going on. And I realized that, she got started in this business because as a firefighter, we all have to take on second jobs typically to make ends meet. My wife, she was homeschooling the kids and doing LuLaRoe at the same time. So her plate was full. My plate was full. I had 3 jobs, sometimes picking up a 4th part-time thing also. And she said, "I want to do this to bring you home. You need to be home with the kids. You need to be home with us. You need to be a part of the family. The kids miss you." And I said, "Okay." Well, I mean, it took a while. And eventually she brought me home from that 3rd job. And now I'm home from the 2nd job. And I just have the fire department. And I'm not really going to, like Matt said, I don't think Brooks has hit me with the number game yet. But I don't know that there is a number. For me, the fire service is more of a calling than anything. I just feel like that's where God has placed me to do some of his work in an area of town that's probably needing a lot of Jesus right now. But anyway, when she went to the leadership, I did a lot of soul searching, and I come back and I asked her, I texted her while she was out there. I said, "Hey, if you see anything or hear anything that I can do to help you out, I'm good with logistics or stuff like that. I don't know stylings. I couldn't tell you what a Randy was or a Nicole or an Amelia or anything like that, but I can do your shipping. Like Matt said, I can load your car. I can do whatever. I can plan stuff out. Just let me know." And it was when she come back from that leadership training that I really got on board, and it has changed our lives tremendously. The income is great. It has blessed our lives in many ways, but really the relationship building that we have now, it has offered another dynamic in our relationship that we never had before. Something that we can not only, when you go out on a date with your wife and it's been a while and all you want to talk about is the kids. And when you're not talking about the kids, you're sitting there looking at one another like, what are we going to talk about? Well, now we have something to talk about. We're always talking about it. We are fully invested in this, and it's amazing. I love it. And we did get to go out to the coaches retreat this past weekend in Arizona. I had a chance to meet home office guys and girls, Mark and Deanne specifically, and some of the other ones, and they are amazing. Like Matt said, when you sit down and talk to them, you can look them in the eye and you hear how they speak. You know that they have a true heart for this business, and that true they genuinely care for everyone out there selling the product, and they are in it. They are in it, longevity, whatever. They are in it. So you get this sense of feeling like they really do motivate you, and they really do have a way of popping that balloon up and getting you levitating up there for a while and getting you really motivated to come back and hit hard and sell hard and just build relationships, because that's really what they stressed, was building relationships. That's what the biggest part of this business is, I think, is building relationships. So, and it's definitely done that with my wife and I. It has definitely strengthened our relationship, some with our kids. We have a whole new group of friends, Brooks, Matt, and I met some new guys out there, John, and then Mike, and now I've met Samuel. It's all about building relationships, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be doing it.
All right, cool, Marty. I'm gonna throw you a curveball, man. You got a pretty cool way that y'all transport your clothes in your trailer, right?
Yeah.
Talk about that for a second. What do you do?
Do you still see me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I accidentally clicked the button. I don't know what's going on. But so what we do is, again, at that time of that leadership, she was out there, and I had a friend that was wanting to start a construction business, and we oh, there we go. And I, I was talking to him about, I had a construction business also, and I was going to sell my enclosed trailer so he could do it. But when she come back, I was like, hey, what do you want to do with this trailer? Like, I can sell it, or we can use it for pop-ups. And our pop-up time was lengthened. I mean, I just felt it was too much, from the taking the clothes off the rack in the house, putting them in bags, put them in the car, put them on racks in the other people's house, and then reverse that. Right. So what we do is, I got a trailer, got a ramp. I made a ramp, and we put the clothes on the portable racks. We roll them right out the door into the trailer, strap them down. We get to the host house. We unroll them and roll them right into their house, and there we go. I mean, really, setup time is at most 10 minutes. So
see a video of that, Marty.
How do you roll
video of that?
Yeah, how do you roll them into the house?
That ramp that I made is pretty portable. So I made it just wide enough for the racks to roll up in there, and it's got a little track on each side to keep it from falling off, because those things get top heavy a little bit. But that's it. And sometimes it takes both of us sometimes to get them up and in and out of the house, but for the most part, it has worked so far.
Cool.
Yeah, they're all single racks. Double racks are a little tricky. I wouldn't suggest doing it with a double rack. My trailer is not as tall to hold a double rack anyway. But
y'all are just using like the collapsible ones, or do y'all have the Z racks? Or
yeah, we have the collapsible racks now. The ones, I think we bought them from the Container Store. I think it's where we got pretty good price on those. Honestly, we're in a new space now, and I was looking at maybe building some different stuff, but I think right now we're going to stick with the collapsible racks. Again, they roll right in and out. So
cool.
It's made it pretty nice.
All right. Thanks, Marty. I mean, I love it that you're doing your passion, like your passion for being a fireman is where you're supposed to be. I think there's a lot of men that are just like you, and but you found a way to, like, be a part of the business and be a big part of the business as well. So thanks for telling your story. All right, Sam.
Okay. I am Sam Nussman, one half of LuLaRoe's Sarah Nussman, since we're all introducing the most important parts of the business. I am not a 2-year veteran like these LuLaBros. I am a little newer, so that's probably why they brought me on for the question and answer part. So we started in February. Really didn't do anything until March, but I guess to back up a little bit, Sarah, it all starts with this, like, going out there, and we tell this to our team: go out there. If you got 2 people at a pop-up, do it. Talk to anybody, whatever you can do, talk to everybody. And this is, if you knew my wife, this 2 years ago, this would have been the last thing I would have ever thought she was doing. I mean, this girl would call me to spend like $2 on like a cheeseburger. I mean, she has like issues with money in general. So I remember she went to this pop-up, which is just really strange, because what is also funny and ironic about this is she was just like, and she's going to hate that I said this, so when this is recorded, she's going to be really angry at me, but she was like the farthest thing from fashion conscious that I could think of. We were still wearing our clothes from college. We had our NC State like t-shirts from 12 years ago. So when she came to me and she said, I want to sell LuLaRoe. Okay. I remember we were like sitting in bed talking about it. I'm like, okay, whatever, this will pass. Then a couple of days went by. She's like, yeah, I think I really want to do it, And so this went on and off for like a week or so. And I remember, just thinking, like, we had just had twins the year before. So we had 1-year-old twins. So if you have twins, you kind of know where I'm coming from there. It was just our house was crazy. Taking care of the twins was nuts. I'm running around just as much as she is, just trying to take care of those twins. She was having a tough time not being a teacher anymore. So she was a kindergarten teacher, and she was really good at it. I mean, she was an amazing teacher. And she received a lot of praise in that way. I think a lot of people telling her that, she is amazing, and she got that every day. Then when you come home with the babies, that kind of ends a little bit. So no matter how many times I come home from work every day and I say, babe, you're the best wife ever. The house looks great. The babies, they're so happy. I think it just kind of wears on you a little bit when you're used to working every day. So I originally said, okay, this is going to be a great idea for my wife to have something to do during the day instead of just changing diapers and doing all that kind of stuff. So I was totally on board in that aspect. Okay, go do something. That's great. And then when she told me the investment, I was like, oh my goodness, like, what? That's crazy. Like, I thought it was going to be like, nothing. And so it was a pretty substantial investment, I thought, at the time. So I was like, okay, you know what? We're going to do this. You'll enjoy it. Give you something to do. And like a month went by, and I didn't really pay attention, much to it. I just noticed that, big cardboard boxes started showing up on my front porch. And I'd ask her about it. I was like, what's that? And she's like, oh, it's a Anna or Nicole, Randy. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And it kept going like this. Like every week it'd be like one more box, like 2 boxes would show up, 3 boxes would show up. I was like, what is going on? So I'm like, I'm going to dive into this. What's going on? And pretty much what happened was she said, this is the inventory I'm buying. I was like, what? I was like, I thought you just, bought some clothes and, you sell whatever they gave you. And that was pretty much it. I had no idea that I was getting into like a full-fledged business. And I remember asking her, she was looking at some dress or something, and she was like, yeah, I'm going to buy some more of these. And I'm like, why are you going to buy it? Why are you going to buy that one? How many are you going to buy? And how do you know when to buy it? And all this kind of stuff. Because I'm not going to get into what I do for work because it's too strange. But we fabricate things and we send it all over the world. So LuLaRoe, it's almost like a bigger version of what we're doing with LuLaRoe. So that was right up my alley. As soon as I heard that, I said, okay, I can help you here. I can put a little nerdy spin on this and try to help you out. So she really had no system at that point. So I kind of took over the numbers, the logistics, everything numbers wise in her business. I do all the ordering, all of the, everything that we keep track of off of shows, any type of decisions we make like that, we do together, but I try to do everything based off of the numbers that I take in and order and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of do all this stuff that that's like numbers, anything with numbers. So and that's how it kind of grew. We grew a team like really, really fast. We're trainers. We have an awesome group of girls underneath us that now I can kind of see, I guess I kind of see my future in you guys. So I can kind of see how it's gonna go forward. So we're trainers. We're working with our team every week, and it's just really grown really fast. I haven't. We did cruise qualify, which was super awesome. That was a big turning point for us, as far as I think treating our business like a business. When we said, you know what, we're going to cruise qualify, that's when our sales literally like tripled. And so we've had some really substantial months that have really made me think about in the future leaving my job, which I think I would. I don't know if Sarah's ready for me to do that yet. So I will maybe eventually do that. Maybe it'll take the cruise. But so that's kind of where we're at now. As far as hints and things for everybody to learn, the last LuLaBro series was awesome. Everything that Matt and Marty have said up till now is super true. I'll echo a little bit of what Marty said. I think that if I've learned anything from this, it is to just be supportive. Yes, I can pick up all the bags. I can put them in the car. You know, I'm OCD, so I pack it all perfect in the van. You know, we have nothing in our Lula room right now. I was trying to find some like kids' clothes to put behind me because all 1,500 pieces is at a pop-up right now. So, yes, we can do all those like typical stuff. But I think for me, it was starting to like look beyond that and see how I could be supportive. You know, like the past 2 or 3 nights I've watched the kids. I put the babies to bed. You know, I ask her how stuff goes when she comes home. It's just being supportive. If you're good at spreadsheets, jump in there and make a system. My wife had no system, so anything that she did that I brought was going to be a positive. If you're good at something else, do that. If you're a stylish kind of guy, put a Randy on. Take pictures for your wife. People don't know this, but a lot of the pictures that are taken in this room as far as styles go, I either put them together or I definitely take the pictures of them, you know, on the floor. I make it all creative and pretty. So jump in there, get out of your comfort zone. For me, it's been really good. Like Marty was saying, it feels like we've grown a lot closer because I feel like she's just taken off and kind of, you know, just that like woman spirit. I mean, she's owning her own business, and I needed to kind of step back and say, I don't have to make all the money. I don't have to have all the benefits, you know, and let her shine. Don't try not to be prideful, which I can definitely be that. You know, I'm pretty prideful. So just be supportive in any way you can. When they have a tough day, you be there as their support. If they have a great day, rejoice with them, you know, be happy with them, celebrate every single success. So that's kind of, I guess, where we are now. So.
Cool, man. Thanks. All right. So if anybody has any questions, there's a Q&A. You can add a question in there and we'll see if we can answer it. Josh has got a question for you, Sam. See that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sam, if you have any spreadsheets or logs for keeping track of things, could you post them to the page for us? Yeah. I mean, I'll throw it on there. It's probably stuff that I guess people are probably pretty used to by now. I mean, we do a Google form. And I take all the information off of that and I throw it into an Excel sheet that I run pivot tables off of. So nothing crazy, but it's just for every night or any day or any period of time, I can tell you exactly how many things we sold, you know, what size it is. So it's just, I don't know. That's my OCD nerdy stuff coming out. But yeah, I can post anything up there.
Yeah, and I'll just add, I think that's a pretty important thing when you're starting out is if you're in that same situation, that dynamic where your spouse doesn't really have like the numbers and the spreadsheet background, is to jump in there and help them understand per pop-up how much money they're making.
Yeah,
you know, it's a really good motivator. It's good for you to understand that too. But okay, you spent 5 hours and this is what you made. You know, so anyways, that's something that I did as well early on, and you know, I think it helped. So, all right, any other questions? Okay, any other thoughts you guys had that popped up while other guys were talking?
I was thinking too, like one of the other things that I think that anybody that's doing the business, like, as a husband, know how to talk to the other husbands that their wives are thinking about joining the business. So know the business well enough to where you can speak to it. Because I get a lot of guys that'll come to me and, you know, their wife's thinking about joining, and I got to be able to articulate, you know, why why Patrick's the man, why he's able to make all these, I mean, not just leggings, but like talk about the 5,000 prints in every, 5,000 of every print goes on, so many clothes, and why that creates a sense of urgency and stuff like that. So just be able to talk the business to these guys, because they had the same questions and, drawbacks and stuff that you did.
All right, we got a question. Any advice on building a team?
I think Matt and Brooks are probably more apt to discuss about this than we are.
Well, I know for Lisa, when we started, I even told Lisa, I looked at the profit margins on the clothes, and I was really skeptical because it was a direct sales thing. But I told her, I was like, yeah, I don't really want you to build a team. I just want you to sell the clothes. And she was in the same, like, yeah, me too. That's all I want to do. And so, especially for the first like 6 months before there was such thing as a 72-hour game plan, that's what she did. She just sold. She went and sold herself, and she went out there and booked 4 or 5 pop-ups a week, and just basically put her head down and sold, and was and that's how we built a team. Like, people would come to her and be like, wow, look at all these clothes you're selling. And like, I was watching her online parties, and people were fighting over items, and I'm like, this is crazy. And people saw that, right? So because she focused on the sales, and people watched it, and they were like, wow, she's really good at this. She loves it. And they can do the math, they can see all these things that are being sold. And that's when they started asking about the business. And that's how she built the team. I know it seems pretty straightforward, but it's like, you focus on selling, and then people will come to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Matt, maybe you can expand on that a little more. Like, when you have somebody interested, what are some things that you have success with when you're talking to them about the business? So,
yeah, my wife can talk to the women about the business, and she does it really well. And she gets, the girls all hyped up about it, and she does a great job. Mostly she talks about how it's changed our lives, right? Because what most women, I should say, like, that's what they want to hear. Like, they start picturing like their life, like, if I do this. But for the guys, they want to know, like, how's this sustainable? Like, come on, man. Like, really? Like, how much money can you make doing this? And so I would say I just kind of talk to them. And, well, one, it's really easy now, because even Brooks told me this before I decided to go full-time, is when I tell them I'm full-time LuLaRoe, like, they're like, what? Because that immediately is like, okay, so your family's surviving on this income, so it must be pretty good. Which is huge. I mean, when we went on the cruise, we had 60 people on our team. That was in February, and now we have like almost 800 people on our team. It blew up when I got home, because that's huge. So that is one. I'm not saying y'all need to quit your job or anything, but it makes a huge difference when they see that. But two, like, just know the answer. So what do you guys, the questions, what are you getting from the other guys? I don't know about you, but like, the questions I get is, the longevity of the business, right? It's a new company. And I'm like, so yeah, right. So you're right. It is a new company. We're actually one of the fastest growing companies in America right now. So that's huge, right? So it's not just we're new, we're actually growing faster than almost any company out there. I talk about longevity, like clothes, like things that you need in life. You need food, you need shelter, and you need clothes, right? So clothes is always going to be in those top 3 things that people need and people buy. They'll always buy them. We have Patrick, who's our designer, who's amazing. He understands how to make a product that these women just buy over and over and over again, right? So you guys know, if you're in these sales, it's the same people. You guys have the same people buying over and over and over again. It's not new people. They're probably in your shopping group too. So he makes, I talk about, it's not just leggings. Like, we have, 20-something, types of clothes here that we sell. We don't make that much money really off the leggings compared to everything else. So that's the one thing. So I'm able to talk about that. What are like some other questions that y'all get as husbands, Marty? And anybody else that's out there, like, what are the other questions y'all getting from husbands? And maybe we can just tackle some of those.
That's pretty much it. That's, you hit it, Matt. I mean, that's pretty much it for me. I think one thing that Lauren and I picked up on this weekend, and it kind of made us reflect a little bit and see that we were kind of doing this as well, which we had talked about it, but we're never really out there hardcore recruiting, right? So if we don't mind planting a seed, at a pop-up or what have you, they ask about something. Oh yeah. I mean, I think you'd be great at this, or, hey, this is what it's done for our life. Tell your why story, But then, you plant that seed, and most people, if they want it bad enough and it's something that they really want to do, and they're going to put forth the effort to make this successful, that's when they come back to you. And those are the ones that we've that's kind of how we've approached team building is that way. We feel like if we were to force it, or if we were to push that on people who aren't A, quite ready, or B, may not have that kind of desire, and we don't want to float a bunch of numbers in front of them, making it sound like, oh, it's dreamy, it's easy, it's something, it's hard, it takes hard work, and we tell them it takes hard work. But if they come back, then that's kind of where we go from there. But we never really push for that, and I think that has helped us tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
And like just a lot of different logistical things that go on with managing a team. A lot of them tend to take care of themselves when you have very motivated people who are trying to work and who want to make that successful.
Yeah. And then I would say the last thing is the other side of that too, because I get a lot of the questions from our girls on our team. Like they ask me about, team building stuff. The other side of that is, if you don't ask, then it'll never happen as well. So yes, you focus on sales and stuff, but also be able to talk to the girls and be like, is that something you'd be interested in? You shouldn't be embarrassed of it, just go out there and put yourself out there and just talk about the business.
Okay. We got another question. Do you see any issue in how fast the company is growing? Do they share their business plan with you, how they are going to keep up with that? Heard about the issue of TC leggings being out of stock. Anybody want to take that?
I mean, I can speak being a little bit newer, because these are kind of fresh on my mind, but I'll tell you, I went to my first LuLaRoe, I guess it was the Inspire tour, when it was here in Raleigh. And it's stuff like that really solidifies for me. Like I'm in the business world, I'm a manager. I move people around all day. I tell them what to do. And it's good to go, when she first started, I'm thinking like, oh, this is like Tupperware or something, like these ladies get together and sell these clothes. But it's good to see that it's like a legitimate business. When you go to these tours or trainings or convention or Inspire or whatever it might be, we get privy to hear the leadership speak, from the highest levels of the company, and you can see a direction. You can see a direction in the company, and a passion. Okay, so it's great to figure out numbers and be making millions of dollars a month, and you can figure the numbers out if you really want to. But more importantly for me is to see the passion of the company. You see everybody all the way up to the top that has a want and a drive to keep going forward and get better at what they do every day. The company is new. The company I work for has been around for 125 years, and we still have screw-ups every day, major screw-ups. So I think it's pretty amazing how far this company's come in such a short time, and we're only dealing with small issues that will be rectified if you can hang on, long enough. Be like Mark was saying on the home office call probably a couple months ago, if you're willing to be one of those people that can stick it out through all of these issues, you're going to come out better in the end with a company like this that's so new. So, they're driven. I all that was kind of, driven out of my mind when I went to that LuLaRoe Inspire tour.
Yeah, I heard, just to kind of touch on some of that too, that I did talk to some home office people, and again, to hear the passion in their voice, like Sam said, it's something that's very inspiring. But also too, I have learned that they maybe set out with a certain goal for a business plan, but this company is so new that they have quickly realized that think bigger than we ever thought, right? So that's what they're planning. And like Sam said, I mean, every company has things that don't kind of go as planned, but I think Mark said it best when he was saying, referencing the tall and curvy leggings being out of stock. I mean, everything waxes and wanes like that sometimes, but like he told us, he was like, what are you going to have for supper on March 16th, 2017? Who knows, right? But that's the way they're planning. That's the way they have to plan. They have to plan so far in advance for stuff like Matt said, like Patrick, he's got to come up with a design, and then they have to put it on a fabric, and then they have to figure out where it's going to be made and what will be made out of it. You know what I mean? And then they have to make sure that it's out by a certain time. And what are the demands 6 months down the road? I mean, that's part of the challenge. And I would say for the most part, I think they've done a pretty fantastic job of trying to keep up with that and be ahead of that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, if you think about that, they have to project how much inventory they'll need 6 months in advance. And really, when I think about trying to do that myself, I can't believe how little problems we have with inventory going out of stock, to be honest with you. I know the TC was out for a while. I mean, part of that was that the demand for tall and curvy doubled month over month. So that was not something that was predicted. So I think things like that'll happen as the market, or the demand for certain styles changes. But anyways, yeah, I think they do a great job with that, and I've been amazed at how they've been able to keep up with the growth this year. So.
Yeah, I would have to say too, but I've never seen so many different, I guess, brands out there. I believe they're trying to copy a lot of stuff, like everybody has got the baseball tee now. I don't know. I just feel like they're ahead of the curve on a lot of different things, especially like when Carly came out.
Oh yeah.
You see that stuff everywhere now. You know what I mean? Like someone trying to emulate that. So they're ahead of the curve. Like you said, Matt, Patrick is on it.
Real quick, I'll also add just one last little tidbit on this, because some of our girls, even our team, this is something, it's you guys deal with it every day as well. But it's always, if you treat your business like a business and you're running it, thinking in the future, you should always be ordering. Like Patrick says, don't base your whole business off of one piece of one garment. So if you're always ordering, even if they get backed up, it's like, even since they've been backed up, I mean, me and Sarah have gotten boxes in if you're continually ordering and staying on that train. So something to think about.
So the second part of Matt's question was, is LLC the best way to go? Yeah, that's what we have done. We formed an LLC mainly to help with the taxes. You pay yourself from the LLC, and
whenever I get tax questions, I'd be very cautious of it. Like, go see a CPA if you don't have one now. Don't do TurboTax. Don't do it on your own. Talk to a CPA. But Brooks is in the same boat as I am, which is that's what our CPA told us to do, is to get an LLC, and they file it as an S corp. But basically, I would just say, really, that see a tax guy to make sure they're giving you really good information.
Yeah, I agree.
Got your back, Brooks.
Thanks, man. A lot of you have talked about ways that you've added value to your wife's skill set, but in what ways have you come to see and admire skills that your wives have that this business has brought to light?
Did my wife write that?
It's
anonymous.
Yeah, man, I've been super proud of Susan as a leader and how she brings women together. And, you know, like, yeah, that's definitely something that I admire about her. I think she's an awesome leader. And in a lot of ways, like I support her. You know, she's the leader of our business. We are partners, but yeah. What about you guys?
I would say for Sarah, I mean, it's just been like the confidence that she's gained. I mean, she's just it's just brought a lot of confidence to her, which is really, you know, it's a good thing to see in your wife. Not that she was moping around before this, but LuLaRoe's really really given her a purpose, and not make this like LuLaRoe church, but I mean, it's given us opportunities to think about other people, you know, reach out and be charitable. Like I said, the money's great. So it gives you opportunities, and with that confidence, she's able to talk to people that she probably wouldn't, you know, go out of her way and talk to before and help. And you know, clothes aren't life, but the clothes make the women feel good. And it's good to see her with that confidence going out and try to instill that confidence in other women.
Well, I'm not going to be the only guy that's not going to say good things about my wife. So
yeah, have fun in that.
No, honestly, Lisa's got the real talent. And I talk about like the talents and stuff that I could bring to this business. You know, I'm packing the car. You know what I mean? I'm invoicing these people. She's got the real talent, which she's just amazing with people. So that's, I mean, honestly, why I invested in this, because I'm like, she's so good already, and people are just drawn to her. I told you guys that we decided we weren't going to build a team. Well, within 2 weeks, someone already joined our team. We're like, all right. It's because people are drawn to her because she's got such an amazing personality, and that's why she's done as well as she has in everything, honestly.
Yeah, and you know, copy what you guys said, but you know, Lauren, along with that drive and that willingness to just, I mean, she just like Matt said, like people are just drawn to those personalities. And I think too, outside of that, for her, like kind of like Sam said, just the generosity that overflows out of her because of this business, and being able to also see her plan and strategize and do all these other things in ways that I'd never seen her do before, you know. And again, it's a whole new dynamic to her and to our relationship that I don't know. I see her in a totally different light than just the homeschooling mom and wife that we were for so many years.
All right. So I think that's it. Thanks, guys. This was great. I'll end it here, and have a good night.
Later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Brooks.